Welcome back to another episode on my channel. Tomorrow and Wednesday, the Champions League continues with Gameweek 2. And in today's video, I will be giving you my predictions for Tuesday's Gameweek 2 Champions League group stage games and Wednesday's Gameweek 2 Champions League group stage games. Every group, A to H. We're going to go through every game of every group from A to H that's being played on Tuesday and Wednesday in the Champions League group stage on match day 2. First up, we're going to go to the group of Copenhagen, Bayern Munich, Man United and Galatasaray, starting with a clash in Denmark between Copenhagen and Bayern Munich. Copenhagen in the last round drew 2-2 with Galatasaray in Turkey, and Bayern dominated a game against Man United which they won 4-3 in Germany. Bayern are the away side, and they're coming into this game with Kane on top form, and they're also coming into this game on the back of a 2-2 draw with Leipzig. In terms of scorelines for Bayern Copenhagen, I think, given Copenhagen the home team, I'm going to give them a goal, but Bayern will win away from home in Denmark by 3-1. Hat-trick for Kane will score a brace. Next up, my team's rivals, Manchester United, who are at home at Old Trafford to Turkish side Galatasaray. Man United, like I said, mentioned when I talked about Copenhagen, Bayern. Man United lost 4-3 to Bayern, while Galatasaray drew 2-2 at home to Copenhagen. Man United are coming into this game against Galatasaray off the back of a 1-0 defeat to Crystal Palace. United are not in the best of forms. Galatasaray, from what I heard, are a good side. They've got the likes of they got a few players that Man United will recognise, like Ziyech. So yeah, they also have Galatasaray also have a Cardi, so it's going to be a hard game for United. I do think they will edge Galatasaray 2-1 with Rashford getting a last-minute winner. Next up, Group B, which contains the teams PSV, Sevilla, Lens and Arsenal. We start Group B by going to Holland, to Netherlands, to the Dutch capital of Ajax, as PSV hosts Spanish team and 7-time Europa League winners Sevilla. PSV got dominated and smashed by Arsenal in the opening match week, again at the Emirates, losing 4-0, and Sevilla somehow only drew against Lens, who we'll get to very shortly. PSV are the home side, and Sevilla are on a bad run of form in terms of the Champions League, so I'm going to edge PSV 1-0. Next up, we go to France, as Lens host Arsenal. Lens got a good draw against Sevilla, and Arsenal returned to the Champions League in style with the thrashing of PSV. There is only one outcome for this game, and that is a Arsenal win. They're not going to do it as comfortable as the margin of scoreline against PSV, because they're the away side. But I'm going to side Arsenal. I'm going to say Arsenal beat Lens away from home 2-0. Saka getting both goals. Now we go on to Group C, which contains Union Berlin, Braga, Napoli, and the team with the most Champions League winners, with the most Champions Leagues, and last year's semi-finalists before losing and being completely dominated by Man City. Not in the first leg, but in that second leg of the Etihad. So yeah, Real Madrid looking to add to the 14 Champions Leagues they've already got. But enough of that, we'll get to Real Madrid soon, because first game, we're going to Germany, as Union Berlin, who almost, before Bellingham got on the last minutes, drew at 0-0 with Real Madrid. Braga apparently are having a very torrid time in the Portuguese league, and I like Union, and I think I was happy to see Union Berlin. I didn't know much about them, but when I heard that Union Berlin had made the top 4 in the Bundesliga and had made Champions League, I was excited to see what they did, because from what I got from last season is they were a very exciting team in the Bundesliga. So I'm curious to see how they get on against Braga. Given the fact they were able to keep Real Madrid out until the last minutes, I'm going to say they destroy Braga at home and win 3-0. So yeah, Union Berlin 3, Braga 0. And now we go to, and finally, and to end Group C, and next up we go to Italy as Napoli host Real Madrid. This is when the draw was made, this clash, Napoli-Real Madrid, was looked at as one of the biggest clashes of the group stage, and I think it's going to live up to its billing, because it's going to be a entertaining 2-2 draw between Real Madrid and Napoli, with Real Madrid going 2-1 down, going 1-0 up, then going 2-1 down, and scoring 5 minutes from time through Jude Bellingham. Next up at Group D, we are on to the final 4 games. We're on to the final 4 teams that are playing on Tuesday, and obviously those are the 4 teams in Group D: Inter Milan, Benfica, Salzburg, and Sociedad. First up, we start in Italy with the semi-final, with the runners-up last season to my team, Man City, again at home to Benfica, who suffered a shock opening day defeat to Salzburg, despite finishing the previous season in their Champions League group first. But that's when they had Darwin Núñez, and obviously they didn't have Darwin Núñez. That was when they still had Gonçalo Ramos, who's gone to PSG. I can't see anything but Inter Milan wins. So I'm going to say 2-0, with Lautaro Martinez getting both goals. Salzburg versus Sociedad, I think, is really hard to call, but I'm going to edge the away team because I was so impressed with them against Salzburg. And also, Inter Milan had to play a Benfica team that went down to 9 men. So yeah, Salzburg versus Sociedad will win 2-1, with Bryce Mendes getting the winner. Now on to Wednesday's games, starting with Group E. First up, we head to Spain, where the capital of Spain, Madrid, where Atletico Madrid host Dutch champions Feyenoord. This is going to be an interesting game, but given that Atletico are the home team, I'm going to slightly edge them 2-1. Griezmann will score the winning goal. Okay, next up, second game in Group E is in Scotland, and it's Celtic versus Lazio. Celtic, not great on their opening day, losing to Feyenoord. They lost a few players because of red cards, but again, they could have done better, even with those players sent off. And I think Celtic, being the home team, could, and I repeat, could somehow beat Lazio. But Lazio, too good of a team to not give the win to. So I'm going to say they win 2-1. Lazio will win. I say Lazio will edge Celtic 2-1. Next up, we're on to Group F, the group of death. First up, we go to Germany, where Dortmund host AC Milan. Dortmund are coming off a tame defeat to PSG, and AC Milan are coming off the back of not only a heavy defeat in the Milan derby last weekend, but also that 0-0 draw with Newcastle. I'm going to go with a little bit of a thriller in Germany, because Dortmund AC Milan is going to end 3-2 Dortmund, with Royce coming up with a goal and 2 assists to win Dortmund the match in the last few minutes. Next up, we have the game of the round, as Newcastle host a PSG squad line with who are led by a specific French winger who wants to play for Real Madrid at some point, and who wants to play for Real Madrid in the future. Mbappe is going to St James's Park. Will PSG be able to handle? The big questions you've got to ask for PSG is, will they be able to handle the atmosphere at St James's Park? Will Mbappe help them on their way to? Will Mbappe play well against Newcastle, who I think will target him? especially with Trippier. But PSG have the likes of PSG don't have just Mbappe. They have N'Golo Ramos. They have Eintracht Frankfurt, the former Eintracht Frankfurt player Kolo Muani. They have one of the best wingers on his day, Osman Dembele. Who they got from Barcelona. Those are the questions that I propose to PSG. Will they be able to answer those questions? Some people will say yes, some people will say no. I'm going to go with yes. Newcastle, I predicted them to beat AC Milan. There's no way I'm predicting them to beat PSG. PSG 2, Mbappe. PSG 2, Newcastle 1. Mbappe 2, Newcastle 1, because Mbappe will get both goals. Okay, now on to my team's Group G. But we're not going to my team because we're starting in Serbia as Red Star, who did well against my team, Man City, who host Young Boys, who put up a good fight against Leipzig, but ended up losing the fight. Red Star Belgrade Young Boys. Now, Red Star, you could probably say Red Star, the atmosphere at Red Star's stadium is the worst atmosphere, is the best atmosphere in terms of at any home stadium in the Champions League this season. The Red Star Belgrade fans, the Red Star Belgrade Ultras are die-hard football fans. You will never see a stadium as passionate about football as Red Star Belgrade. Their fans are crazy about football. They're all about football. And that's why they're going to dominate and win 2-0. I don't know much about their players, but I know that home atmosphere is going to be so good that Young Boys won't even be able to touch them. 2-0. Next up, my team, the current holders, as Leipzig host Manchester City. My club, Man City, is coming off the back of one okay result, given the fact we changed our team completely, that being Newcastle, and one very poor result. That game, a 2-1 defeat to end our 100% record in the Premier League against Wolves. That game against Wolves, though, did, however, include one of the goals of the season contenders in the Premier League from Julian Alvarez, who is on the form of his life. You thought, last season, everyone thought, Julian Alvarez is being wasted at Man City because of Haaland. Are you saying that now? Probably not, because he has had a great season so far for Man City. I think he's been Man City's best player, even better than Haaland, because Haaland did nothing against Wolves. Yes, he didn't have the service, but I think overall, if you're looking at what he's contributed to the team, goals and assists, Alvarez for me has been our best player, with Haaland in a close second. You could consider Haaland, you could say Haaland had a slightly better season than Alvarez. It's really hard to call, but two good strikers who are, yes, Haaland didn't score in the game against Wolves or play in the game against Newcastle, but he, just like Alvarez, but he is on a hot run of form with being the top goal scorer in the Premier League with 8 goals. And Alvarez has been one of the most surprising lights in the Premier League and has done really well to make his own position in that 10 role. Everyone, I think loads of City fans thought, with De Bruyne injured, we could be in trouble. But that vacant De Bruyne role has been taken over by Alvarez so very well. And Alvarez and Haaland are both going to star. Leipzig against the team that he loves to score against, and Alvarez against a team, and Alvarez who's on a hot run of form. But yeah, Haaland, City's 2 danger men, Haaland, who loves scoring against Leipzig, and Alvarez will help City on their way to a comfortable 3-1 win, because despite everything that's going on, we are the current European champions, and we all want to go back, and we all want to try and go back to back, not just back to back in the Champions League. We want to win the Champions League again this year, there's a special extra motivation with the final being at a pace City know very well, Wembley. But I'm going to quickly say the 3 City players there'll be 3 different scores for Man City against Leipzig. It'll be the player who loves to score against them, Erling Haaland. A man in form, Julian Alvarez, and a former player coming back to haunt them, as Gavardio will score as well. City will go 1-0 down, will go 1-0 ahead through Haaland. Then Leipzig will equalise through Olmo, but then City and Leipzig will go into the second half, into half-time at 1-0. But then straight after the restart, in the 88th, in the 55th minute, City will go ahead through Haaland, through Alvarez. And then in the 88th minute, later on in the game, with Leipzig chasing the game, City will get at 2-1. City will get a corner, put it into the box, and Josko Gavardio will get his head to it, scoring the third and winning the game. Man City winning the game 3-1 for Man City away to Leipzig. Final two, and now that we've talked about, so that's my prediction for Man City Leipzig 3-1 away from home with Haaland, Alvarez, and Josko Gavardio scoring. Alvarez scoring again, Haaland scoring against the club he loves to score against, and Gavardio scoring against his former club. Okay, on to the final group, which is Group H, and there's 2 more games to get through. The first one is in Belgium as Antwerp, who got destroyed by Barca 5-0, versus Shakhtar, who are for every game in the Champions League are going to be the away side, given the fact they can't play, given the fact they're playing their home games outside of Ukraine, with obviously Ukraine nowhere near the condition to host football after the invasion of Russia. But enough of that. Let's get on with the score. I think Antwerp, obviously, Barca won. They faced Barca, lost 5-0. Nothing you can do about that. Barca are a good side, and they literally, either the previous week or the week straight after, either the previous week before the 5-0 win against Antwerp, I think either before the game against Antwerp, Barcelona also won 5-0 in the league, or it was after the game after. I'm not sure, but either in the game before or in the game after the Antwerp game, Barca won 5-0 in the league. So Barca went a league game and the Champions League game against Antwerp with 2 back-to-back 5-0 wins. But enough about Barca, then we'll get to them a little bit later. This is about Antwerp and Shakhtar. Antwerp in Belgium, at home in Belgium against Shakhtar. I think Belgium's going to be a difficult atmosphere, as I think City found out about against Club Brugge a few years ago. It is a difficult place to go. We ended up winning against Club Brugge that year, but they made a right go of it in Belgium. So I know how hard it is to go to Belgium and to go away to Belgium and get a win. And I think that's why I'm going to say a 2-1 win from Antwerp, with Toby Alderweireld getting the winner in the 86th minute. And the final game in this video to predict for my Champions League group stage match 2 predictions is Porto at home in Portugal to Barcelona. I'm going to go straight to the point. Porto 3-0, Barcelona 3. Alvarez, Cancelo will score 1, João Felix will score 1, and the wonderful Ferran Torres will score the 3rd. So those are my predictions for the Champions League group stage game week. That is my predictions for the Champions League group stage game week 2. Let's go through my predictions for the Champions League group stage game week 2 once more. So on Tuesday, Group A, Copenhagen 1, Bayern 3, Kane scoring a brace. Man United 2, Galatasaray 1. It's Group B, PSV 1, Sevilla 0, Lyon 0, Arsenal 2, with Saka scoring both goals. Group C, Union Berlin, Braga 3, Braga 0, Napoli 2, Real Madrid 2. Real Madrid will go with Real Madrid going 1-0 down, going 1-0 up, then going 2-1 down, but scoring a last minute equaliser through Jude Bellingham. Group D, Inter Milan, Benfica. Inter Milan 2, Benfica 0. Lautaro Martinez with both goals. RB Salzburg versus Real Sociedad. RB Salzburg 1, Real Sociedad 2, with Bryce Mendes getting the winner in the last few minutes. Wednesday, Group E, Wednesday's Champions League group stage game week 2 games. Yeah, Wednesday Champions League group stage game week 2. predictions. Match day 2 predictions. Group E, Atletico Madrid 2, Feyenoord 1. With Griezmann scoring a last minute winner. Celtic 1, Lazio 2. Group F, Dortmund 3, AC Milan 2. Newcastle 1, PSG 2, with Mbappe getting one of them, and Dembele getting the winner. Group G, Red Star Belgrade 2, Young Boys 0. Don't know anything about Red Star Belgrade, but I know how solid they are at home, not just in the Champions League games that they've played at home, but also in Serbian games they play at home. So, Red Star 2, Young Boys 0. And Young Boys are not the best side, in my opinion, and I think will absolutely, and I think Man City, who'll get to, will absolutely trounce them home and away in match week 3 and 4. But you'll find out my match week 3 Champions League group stage predictions and my match week 4 Champions League group stage predictions when it comes to when those match days come around, which is in 2 weeks' time. So obviously, in 2 weeks' time in 2 weeks' time, game week 3. 2 weeks after that, after game week 3, game week 4. 2 weeks after that, game week 5. 2 weeks after that, game week 6, and then the group stage will be finished. But let's continue on with going through my Champions League group stage match day 2 predictions. What's more time? We've already gone through the first game. We've already gone through every game in groups. My score predictions for every game in Group A to F, and the first game in Group G. Continuing on, RB Leipzig also in Group G. RB Leipzig 1, Man City 3. Alvarez, Haaland, and Gavardio. Alvarez scoring once again. Haaland scoring against the goal team he loves most, and Gavardio coming back to haunt his former team by scoring the third, with Olmo scoring the goal that will put Leipzig level after City go ahead. And then finally, Group H, Antwerp versus 2, Shakhtar 1 for Shakhtar Donetsk 1, with Alderweireld scoring the winner in the 86th minute. And finally, Porto 0, Barca 3. Cancelo, João Felix, and Robert Lewandowski scoring. And the mighty. I'm going to change my score. I'm keeping my score prediction Porto 0, Barca 3, but I'm going to change my goal scorers. The goals from Barca will come from João Felix, João Cancelo, and Robert Lewandowski. So yeah, one more time to go through. I'll go through my predictions for game week 2 of the Champions League group stage. One more time. Copenhagen 1, Bayern 3. Man United 2, Galatasaray 1. PSV, I'm not mentioning the groups. PSV 1, Sevilla 0. Lyon 2, 0. Arsenal 2. Union Berlin 3, Braga 0. Napoli 3, Napoli 2, Real Madrid 2. Dortmund, Inter Milan 2, Benfica 0. Salzburg 1, Sociedad 2. Atletico Madrid 2, Feyenoord 1. Celtic 1, Lazio 2. Dortmund 3, AC Milan 2. Newcastle 1, PSG 2. Red Star 0, Red Star 2, Young Boys 0. Leipzig 1, Man City 3. Antwerp 2, Shakhtar 1, and Porto 0, Barcelona 3. And that is it for this video. Now that you know my Champions League group stage game week 2 predictions, put down yours in the comment section. And on Wednesday, I'll be filming a video that will release on Thursday, which I told you about in a previous video, and with that being my predictions for the next game week of the Premier League. I can't remember which game week it is up next. Game week 8. So, like I said, on Wednesday I'll be filming a video that will be released on Thursday, being my Premier League game week 8 game on Wednesday I'll be filming a video that will release Thursday. My Premier League game week being my Premier League game week 8 predictions, which include a huge game between 2 of the top 4. My Man City away to our secondary rivals, Arsenal, after last season's. Hopefully we can get a good result against Leipzig to go into that game. But if we get John Stones back, we'd smash it. I think we'll beat Arsenal. I think Obviously, City will play a day. City obviously will play in the Champions League a day later than Arsenal, but Arsenal could be without Saka, depending on how serious his new injury was. He picked up an injury again. He picked up a knock against Tottenham, which could have made him miss the game against Bournemouth. However, he did play the game against Bournemouth, but during the game against Bournemouth, he did go off. So we'll see how bad that is. I think if Arsenal do not have Saka, if Arsenal without Saka and Saliba, they're losing. If Saka is still there, then it might be the other thing. You know what? Obviously, I'll give you my proper prediction for the Arsenal Man City game at the Emirates on Sunday when my Gameweek 8 Premier League predictions video releases. But I'm going to give you a prediction right now, in my personal opinion, right now as it stands, based on the weekend just gone, and based on I'm going to give you. You'll find my proper prediction for the Arsenal City game in Thursday's video, giving you my Gameweek 8 Premier League predictions. But I'll give you a prediction as I stand here right now. And my current thinking as it's right now, at this very moment, is I think, based on how well I think it's going to go in midweek, I think City, as an early prediction, before you see my proper prediction on Thursday, City will win 2-1. Haaland scoring the opener. Saka, who I believe will be fit, scoring an equaliser just before half time. And then in the 67th minute, my boy off the bench, Jackie Gree, will set up Julian Alvarez to put us 2-1 up, and that's how it will stay. So my prediction, as I stand here right now, walking around my room, is Arsenal 2, Arsenal 1, Man City 2 at the Emirates. You'll see my proper prediction, my actual prediction, my full-on prediction on Thursday, because this is a prediction. This is a prediction for the City Arsenal game before City and Arsenal play in the Champions League, and once City and Arsenal do play in the Champions League, my score will change, because obviously I think if you make a prediction before two teams play the next games, if you make a prediction before a big game between two clubs like Man City and Arsenal, who have a game in midweek, it will change, because the performance from Arsenal and Man City on Tuesday and Wednesday night will determine what my prediction is. So the reason why my prediction on Thursday, that you'll see on Thursday, is going to be completely different from the prediction here, is because the games on Tuesday and Wednesday for Arsenal against Lyon and City against Leipzig will determine what my scoreline is. So do not expect my score on my actual score prediction on Thursday for Arsenal Man City to not be 2-1. It could still be 2-1, because something might not change. I might be like, I'm happy with 2-1, but be warned, I could change my prediction. By the time you hear my actual prediction on Thursday for Arsenal Man City, it could be 1-0 City, or it could be 2-0 City, or it could be 2, or it could stay 2-1 City, or it could be 3-1 City, or it could be 3-0 City. So remember, current prediction right now as I stand ahead of tomorrow's Arsenal's game tomorrow in the Champions League against Lyon, and City's game on Wednesday in the Champions League against Leipzig, is 2-1. After those games are played, after those games for Arsenal against Lyon is played, after those games for Arsenal against Lyon and City against Leipzig are played, my prediction will most likely change. So please do not take City 2, Arsenal 1 as my literal prediction for the City Arsenal game on Sunday in Game Week 8 of the Premier League. But enough of that. My prediction right now is to stand here: City 2, Arsenal 1. But after tomorrow and Wednesday, my score prediction that you see on Thursday could change. But until my Gameweek 8 Premier League predictions video. I've been Jonah O'Brien. You've been watching Give Me O'Brien. Subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell to catch up with all my latest videos. Like I said, these Champions League group stage predictions for Gameweek 3. These Champions League group stage game predictions will be back in 2 weeks' time when Gameweek 3 comes around. But like I said, tune in to Thursday. Tune in to Thursday for my Gameweek 8 Premier League predictions, and then tune in a week on Tuesday and Wednesday next week for my Gameweek 3 Champions League group stage predictions. Until those two videos, but until Thursday and until a week next week, until 2 weeks, 2 weeks tomorrow and Wednesday. I'm talking so fast I can't say the right words. Tune in until I see you for my Gameweek 8 group stage predictions. Until I see you for my Gameweek 8 Premier League 2023-2024 predictions on Thursday, and my Gameweek 3 Champions League group stage predictions 2 weeks from tomorrow and Wednesday. I've been Jonah O'Brien. Until my Gameweek 8 Premier League predictions on Thursday and my Champions League group stage Gameweek 3 predictions. Until my Gameweek 8 Premier League 2023-2024 predictions on Thursday and my Champions League group stage matchday 3 predictions 2 weeks from tomorrow and Wednesday. I'm out, and peace, bye, adios, have a nice night. And don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell.